Should we do Watch This Jerks? We'll think of other stuff to talk about later, I'm sure.
There's a lot to talk about. Am I the only one who watched Weird on Roku TV?
I watched it.
You did watch it? The Weird Al Yankovic?
All the fine films on Roku TV.
Can I ask a question about Roku TV first?
Yes, you can.
Ask me anything. I'm a subscriber.
I was going to make a joke if I actually needed a Roku TV, but I'm assuming it's an app or something.
Yeah,
do I have to pay to be?
Sometimes
it's an app.
Not on Apple products. It isn't.
Okay,
on Apple TV, it's not.
What about on LG TVs? It's on Xbox, probably, right?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Oh,
it might be, but I don't know that it is for sure.
I was gonna say you might be able to stream it from like your computer onto your TV.
That sounds lame.
Anyway,
how's the movie? Forget my jerky questions.
It's cute.
It's a Weird Al movie. It's the same tone as.
It has ads when you watch.
Yeah, it does have ads.
Unless you get Roku Plus.
I don't have Roku.
I don't know that exists. But
I don't think that it does exist.
If it doesn't exist because Wombat doesn't have the monthly subscription for it. So
yeah, it's cute. Yeah, it does. It obviously does. It does. It has that UHF style, that tone of UHF. There's a lot of cameos in it. If you like a good cameo filled, over the top comedy, then you're going to be happy with this movie. There's a lot of Weird Al references also.
Sure.
So
I would expect no less.
Well, I mean, it's.
Does he eat a Vaseline sandwich in it at any point?
I mean, there's like a layer of underneath all the spoof references to Weird Al. There are other like deep cut Weird Al references.
How
like
deep?
When the movie opens, there's a radio. He's listening to the radio, and the ad on the radio says 30% off gabardine suits, which is a line from the song King of Suede.
Yep.
Those kind of deep cut references are sort of sprinkled throughout the movie. So if you're a diehard Weird Al fan, there's some things in there for you outside of the other jokes, like, the stuff about Eat It. And
I listened to that album about 1 billion times, 3D.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a great album.
I could not pull out those lyrics out of my mind right now. The gabardine suit. I loved like Al TV on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
I was a huge fan of that. That was like, I remember he ate a Vaseline sandwich, and that was really funny. I was like, I can't believe this guy is just eating a Vaseline sandwich on TV. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to watch this movie without commercials, not on Roku at some point. It seems unlikely.
No, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they put it on something like Vudu for sale.
I could. Yeah. I'll buy it. I could rent it. You mean like to rent somewhere?
Yeah, to rent or buy or something.
Get some money. I'll do that. That sounds good.
It might just be, you don't want the commercials. So you can record it. You buy a TCL TV.
Yeah.
Buy a TCL TV, then you buy set up a Plex server.
Right.
Then record it off of that and then have it automatically remove the commercials for you, and then you can play it back.
I'm sure I could torrent it.
I think that's the preferred. Yeah, but you want the one that you ripped yourself, right?
I haven't watched a torrent in like so long. No, I'm not going to do any of that. I will just rent it like a normal person. What else are we watching?
I had to hunt down like all my TVs other than my projector down here.
Yeah,
are like TCL, and TCL has the Roku like built in.
Oh, okay.
And so I was coming down here to watch it, and this is how I found out like it's not an app on Apple TV, which is nuts to me.
Right.
And then I think I went to Xbox and couldn't find it there. And so then
it's not on LG. I just looked up.
Yeah. Then I found that I had a Roku TV stick little thing that I could plug in that I don't know where I got that from, but I had one, and it got me to Weird Al movies.
Nice.
Yeah. I like Weird Al.
Whenever I picked that up. Yeah. It's good. Enough. It was good enough.
It's good enough. It's perfectly fine for what it is. My wife and I watched
it's not
together.
That's not great.
And we enjoyed
good
it.
Enough.
No, I'm not going to say it's great. Daniel Radcliffe is fun in it. But I'm not rushing to watch it again, which I think is its biggest crime. Is that it should be the kind of movie that I want to watch like on a rainy day, and I don't know if it is.
I want to go to a Weird Al concert.
I've been to a Weird Al concert.
Was it good?
He puts on one of the best shows I've ever seen.
See, I bet.
And that's not even hyperbole or a joke. He legitimately puts on one of the best concerts I've ever seen.
He doesn't fuck around. He doesn't even curse.
No, he does not. He does the costume changes between every song. It's a full on,
he's old school,
multimedia production. The band is, it's still a live band playing all those songs and all those instruments live. It's not like he's singing to pre-recorded music,
right?
Which I think some people think he does. No, it's the band. It's really awesome.
What else?
I actually saw a live show last week.
Which one?
I saw Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend live podcast record.
Wow, where did they do that?
Beacon Theater.
Beacon Theater.
At the Beacon.
How much is the ticket for that cost? I'm just curious.
About $100 per person.
With fees or with pre-fees?
I think probably pre-fees.
Fucking those fucking fees, man.
I know it wasn't too bad because it was pre-sale and it was through my wife's work. So
what do we charge for our listeners, for people to? Are we in that range?
Yeah, we charge $100 a ticket to see us at the Beacon, and he sold out the Beacon 2 nights in a row, which is one of the larger theaters in Manhattan. So it was actually pretty impressive. You could see it on his face that he was not ready for that many people to see his show at one time. Like he was like, this is a lot of people. The guest was Tracy Morgan, who would literally stop like every 10 minutes and go, there's so many people here. And I'm like, yeah, it's a
how many people does the Beacon hold?
Like 4,000.
A lot of people.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Cool.
It was very funny. We very much enjoyed it, as I did my Weird Al concert. And now we could get back to watching this.
Bitches? Jerks?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Jerks.
Sorry, jerks.
Am I going again next? Because I'm next on the list. I watched See How They Run on HBO Max.
Yes.
Did you watch that?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's see, I think you would like that. It's a period mystery drama comedy.
What's the period?
What was it? The 1950s, because it's post-war 1950s.
Okay.
I was about to say late 1940s, but it's like early 1950s.
Big fan.
Not that it matters that much, but it's Saoirse Ronan and Sam Rockwell. Saoirse Ronan is a rookie police officer, and Sam Rockwell is the grizzled detective, and they're solving a murder that takes place in London in the early 1950s at a theater. I was about to say a Broadway theater, but no, at the West End Theater in London.
Sam Rockwell speaks with a British accent in the film?
Yes, he speaks with a British accent.
Interesting.
Yep.
Right.
It was pretty good. Maybe a little long, but a good, a cute, like a real movie.
Let's check the old Rotten Tomato meter.
I'm going to say, wait, let me guess. I'm going to say it's probably not rotten, like the red tomato, but I'm going to say...
Give me a number. Spit it out.
72%.
75, just like your whiskey.
Okay. Hey, I was close. I could pre-guess Rotten Tomatoes with the best of them. That's accurate. Like I said, it's enjoyable. It's not gonna blow anyone's mind. No one's gonna watch that movie and go, "This is the movie that changed my life."
Let's hear about Wakanda Forever.
Speaking of movies that'll change your life forever,
because I think I'm going to see this tomorrow.
I liked it. It's very long. I think you'll like it too, Ship. I think Cheapy's gonna hate it.
Hate it? Why would I hate it?
I think you're gonna hate it.
Why would I? Well, hate is a strong word.
I know, and
How long is it? I'm looking right now.
It's got to be
because
2.5
he's super
hours.
racist. Is that what it is?
2 hours and 41 minutes.
Yeah.
I still think they should let you make a white Black Panther in the video game.
Yeah, exactly. It's
no, I don't. By the way,
no, I know you don't.
I mean, I don't care. Do whatever the fuck you want.
I could spoil things. I'm not going to. I think it's okay. Oh, Jesus. What am I?
You can't talk about any of the plot points. Just talk about the emotions you felt. And
you said your wife cried and you saw she cried.
My wife cried twice. And I was sitting next to her while she cried.
And you did not. Well, no, you never cry.
No, I didn't cry. I'm not going to cry during Black Panther.
Right. Why? It's sad, though.
Havoc 37 asks, how's Namor?
How's his penis? I heard his penis is too big for the screen.
It's too big for the small shorts. I saw that too.
They edited down his penis, I heard.
Here's what I'm gonna say is the problem with Namor in the movie. Because I'm a kind of like a Namor fan. Because there's gotta be one. And
he didn't have the right fish accent, right?
No, I think because the actor that plays him is a handsome guy. Like I've seen him in the interviews and I've seen pictures with him, and he's a handsome guy. And he's not handsome enough in the movie.
They uglied him up, you're saying?
They uglied him up a little bit in the movie. Like his facial hair is like unkempt and long and scraggly, and he just doesn't look.
You're saying they erased his penis and made him uglier, is what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that he's a better looking man than the movie allows him to be. When I think he's supposed to be a handsome, charming guy that's part of like the shtick of Namor. So I don't know. I think that they dropped the ball on that aspect.
Stick for Namor.
But I think they tried.
We can't have that in a Marvel movie.
I know. Just saying. And I think there's room to course correct because I think he's fine. It's not the actor's fault.
You would think like a fish guy wouldn't have a big penis because fishes they don't really even have like external penis.
Well, he's not a fish.
Isn't he?
No, he's not a fish.
He's like half fish though.
He's not. I mean, yeah, but you don't know which half.
From the waist down.
No, waist up. Waist up fish.
But he looks like a man from the waist up. So he's got to be waist down fish.
Yeah, but haven't you ever seen those blob fish?
I think he stuffs his shorts,
people faces. Or those fish with human teeth.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's the exception.
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
I'm going to see it. I'm not overly excited about it. Part of it's that runtime.
Right.
It doesn't feel 2 hours and 40 minutes.
It'll feel like that for me.
But it feels like it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I feel like no matter what movie I'm watching, it doesn't matter how, I know the time that it is. It's like, even if I've been enjoying this, it's been an hour and 45 minutes. I don't lose track of the time while I'm watching a movie.
Right. Your ass still is tired. That's why you got to watch it at home. Break that up into 2 or 3 sessions. It'd be perfect. It'll probably be on Disney Plus, when? January?
Yeah, that would be my guess. I would say around in time for, Quantumania comes out soonish.
Anyway. I watched the movie, an old movie.
What?
With my son, Ty. We watched Popstar Never Stop something.
Stopping.
Yep, Stopping. Never Stop Stopping. That movie's
I know, it's one of my favorite movies.
Is it really?
Yes. I've talked about it on the show before.
It's one of your... I liked the movie and I laughed pretty hard. I wouldn't say...
Wombat's going to talk about next?
What?
Walk Hard, the Cox story.
Yeah, because it's like the perfect double feature.
Because he's
going
to keep
jokes.
Anytime you bring up this movie, he brings up that movie.
Right. That I haven't seen. Is that the same jokes? Am I going to see
It's basically the same movie, just told in different time periods.
Yeah. I don't know that Ty liked it as much as I did, but...
No, it's...
The limo scene is pretty great, though.
I was going to say, did you like that? I was literally just about to ask you
I was dying. I was fucking dying.
That scene is really funny.
He can't really focus on the movie when I'm sitting next to him, convulsing on the fucking couch and the floor laughing so hard. He's like, what's wrong?
Maya Rudolph makes me laugh every time I watch that movie. That whole scene with the refrigerators makes me laugh.
I don't even know who was she in the movie?
Deborah.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting name. What does that mean? Deborah.
Right.
See, even Shipwreck laughed and smirked at my bad line reading. So that's how you know it's funny.
Right. Are there a lot of laughs in Uncharted?
So I watched the Uncharted movie.
Is there a single laugh in that movie?
Did you know that was a movie they made?
I did.
I don't know. It was...
No laughs. Did you laugh once? That's a yes or no question. Did you laugh once?
Well, it's not a...
Uncharted has jokes in it in the game. You're supposed to laugh a little at least.
Maybe once. I think there was... I can't remember what it was, but there was a scene where I chuckled.
Were you laughing at it or with it?
Maybe.
Exactly.
It could have been... Something made me laugh, and I think it was that movie. I remember watching something and thinking, oh, that was clever. But no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Weird.
Was it Mark's lack of enthusiasm?
So, yeah. So, originally this movie was supposed to be made with him as Nathan Drake, right? Like when they were originally going to make this movie,
Okay.
it was going to be Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake, and then they didn't make the movie for like 10 years.
He aged out?
And then he aged out, but they still kept him on board.
Right.
And
they probably were like, "We're gonna have to pay you anyway, so
right.
Do you want to be
so
in
like,
it?
Hey, do you want to be the older guy now?
And his answer is not really.
Right.
But I'll do it.
That's the performance. Like,
oh,
Tom Holland, like super charismatic, super likable, right? Like you see him on screen.
You gotta like him in everything.
You like him in everything. And he does a pretty good job in this movie, considering the material, right? Like, and
I remember watching that movie and
and the chemistry between him and Wahlberg is just, it does not exist.
No,
like there's nothing there.
And they're supposed to be best friends, right? It's Sully and
well, but this takes place like
before they're friends.
One,
it's like a prequel.
It's like multiple Uncharted games put together, right? Like I remember just about every scene in this movie in some fashion, but they were from like different games, like that type of thing. So you remember this scene, like you played as like teenager Nathan Drake.
Sure.
And so that's in this movie type.
That's the opening of the movie.
Him and his brother, right?
Yeah.
So, and then there's a lot of the plot points. Like it stays pretty true to what Uncharted is.
Okay. It's just, you're saying Marky Mark could have done better and it would have lifted the movie up a little bit. Yeah.
It just needed, all they had to do was nail the chemistry between those two characters because that's what makes those games work, right?
Yes, of course.
Like the games themselves, like the shooting isn't great. The combat is not great. The climbing around and action scenes, those are good.
Like if it was Chris Evans instead of Mark Wahlberg, who we know has chemistry with what's his face?
Yeah.
Tom Holland.
Sexual.
Yeah. If you had Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like in there, you're this game.
Is Tom Holland is really good friends with the guy who played the Punisher? They should have gotten him.
Literally like anybody but Mark Wahlberg, probably.
He's so busy though, Mark Wahlberg. He's got his like Orange Theory competitor. He's got his I saw an ad for him on Instagram where he wants you to pray with him on the Rosary app or something. I forgot what it's called, but literally he's like, come pray with me. It's like, it's me. And and he just does everything. He's got his hamburgers. He's got, he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Stabbing people's eyes out or something. Didn't he do that once? Didn't he stab somebody's eye?
Well, the guy looked at him funny.
Yeah. And didn't he stop 9/11 from happening?
Maybe.
What?
But maybe it'd be better in the sequel.
Yeah.
It ends setting up the sequel.
Yeah. I'm probably not watching that.
No, there's nothing new about it, right? Like you watch it and it's like,
this is the video game.
This is the video game.
But it was better performances in the video game because they hired like enthusiastic actors and it was cool.
So this can't possibly be a spoiler for anybody, but there is a Stan Lee type of cameo in this where they come up and Nolan North, right? Nolan North's his name?
Yeah, that's his name. He's on the beach.
Yeah, he's on the beach. But like I'm like, it's such an awkward line, like where Tom Holland's like talking about like getting thrown out of a plane and being chased by people and all the stuff, and then like
Nolan happens to me all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That is exactly
that is exactly the same.
What he says.
And my wife was like, "Who was that?" Like it's like the whole movie. There's only been like 4 people in the entire movie, and then all of a sudden, you've got Nolan North here, and nobody like.
And that's how it ends.
Well, it's
and then
the
credits roll.
Yeah, it's close to the end, but
oh well.
It's such a weird. Like I appreciate the cameo, but at the same time, like anybody who doesn't know, it like just did not fit whatsoever. It wasn't like, oh, and here's a guy doing something that like a random Stan Lee, like, oh, it's the shop operator type of thing.
All right. Well, speaking of things that I'm not going to watch, let's move on to TV. I want to hear all about the new seasons of Titans.
The new season of Titans started, and I watched the first 2 episodes. I think they may be up to 4.
Yeah.
So I watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It is still Titans. They definitely upped the gore level this season.
Okay.
To the point where I was watching an episode, and I'm going to spoil the first episode. I don't care. Do you care? Can I spoil it? Is it allowed?
I think so.
I'm
not wait, let me play a test tone so people know. That's the spoiler tone. Yeah.
So the first episode, they kill off Lex Luthor.
And I didn't even know he was in the show.
He's in only one episode, and they have him played by Titus Welliver, the guy who plays Bosch. So he's in the one episode, and he dies by magic, I guess. And the spell is that a giant snake comes out of his mouth. But first he vomits blood for like 15 seconds.
Why?
And then the giant snake comes out of his mouth.
Right. That's bad.
And the giant snake is also covered in blood. And then he falls down on the ground because, all of his insides have been ripped out.
That's not a good way for him to die, for Lex Luthor to die.
And then he falls down in his own.
That's a horrible way to kill him.
Vomit, blood mess. Yeah. So, and it's just a lot of that kind of gore
right
in the first 2 episodes.
Do you know, when I saw the new season was out, I told Mrs. Cheapy, I was like, new season of Titans. And she's like, oh, cool, let's check it out. And then I went to put it on, and then I saw that I still had like so many episodes left from last season because we stopped watching last season because it got so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, and then we all remembered that. We looked at that. I'm like, oh yeah, this show's really bad. We can't watch the show anymore.
It's incredibly stupid.
It was good. The first few seasons were good.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I mean, will I continue to watch it? I don't. Like I said, I'm already. I think 3
too many episodes,
now.
but it's too many episodes. It's like 12 episodes or something in a season, or some There's too many. Anyway, have you been watching The Vow too, or did I write that?
No, I started that too.
Oh, okay. How do you like that?
I think we watched the first 3 episodes so far.
Yeah.
It's good. It's more of The Vow. It's
so
more
creepy.
About
the fucking
thing.
guy, Keith Raniere, so creepy. It's hard to watch his creepiness.
Mm-hmm. And I said this on the first season, and I'll say it again now, just reiterating what you said. They had a very lucrative, legitimate business.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they took that extra step to screw it up and all go to prison.
It was really only because this guy he needed to fuck everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If this guy could have just said, you know what, I'm just gonna hire prostitutes and just because you gotta fuck, but that would have been much better because you're not messing with your business, you're not committing crime. Like some of these were girls, they were 16 years old. Like that's a crime. Very bad and very creepy. And he blew, and you see all the people in this group think he's like a genius. But then when you see just him filming him around the house in his sweatpants and stuff, and he's scratching his nuts and just talking about gross sex stuff, this is no genius. Probably like Elon in his house. I feel like it's the same thing when you don't see Elon behind the
but
scenes.
his house is probably bigger.
Definitely. Oh yeah, they lived in a shitty house in Albany.
Yeah.
But they were pulling in millions and millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars
weird.
from a legitimate business. That, I mean, might it have been shady and a little bit of snake oily? Sure.
Yes.
But still, but it was still perfectly legal.
And people didn't complain that they got ripped off.
That's what I mean. No one was complaining. They were making lots of money. They had celebrity endorsements. The dude met the Dalai Lama. You could have milked that for really the rest of your life and lived very comfortably. You may not have been the richest man in the world.
He's so gross looking. It's hard. I know you're not supposed to say that, but he looks like he's just smells.
No, he looks like a thumb that needs a haircut. But
yes, a hippie thumb.
A hippie thumb, and it's just
yeah.
It bothers me on so many levels, but it really does. It really does irk me because I'm like, if I had a business like that.
Yeah. That's what the whole woman in the show, Nancy, she's we had this great business and all you had to do was just not fuck everybody.
Yeah.
And do weird shit with sorority branding.
Yeah. And one of those people was her daughter.
You're right. Right. It's all very bad. Anyway, I got you guys won't like this show, but if you're looking for some sophisticated entertainment and you have Apple TV Plus, because I know people say it there's not a lot of stuff to watch on Apple TV Plus. There's a show called Pachinko, which is about a Korean family through like several generations, from like part where like the Japanese occupation of Korea to like modern Japan. And we watched the first episode. It's very serious, but it's very like epic in scope and well acted and well directed. The guy who directed it is the guy who made a movie and almost used our house, but found a better house. Kogonada is his name. So that's on Apple TV, called Pachinko, if you're looking for something serious. And if you're looking for something less serious but also excellent, this season of Black Lotus on HBO is really fucking great. I highly recommend that. And if you haven't watched Black Lotus at all, just start with the first season and watch that, because that season is awesome. Ship, you don't like Black Lotus?
Never watched it.
You should check it out. It's really cool.
My wife is into it.
It's good. Why don't you watch it? It's really, it's funny.
You know, I don't watch like TV much at all.
Like non-family TV. Not even family TV.
I mean, we watch like movies. If we're
White Lotus. Did I say Black Lotus? I wrote down Black Lotus. What the fuck?
See, I couldn't even watch it if I tried.
I knew what you meant.
Thank you, Darth Rook. I said fucking Black Lotus.
I watched the first episode of the 3rd season of Mythic Quest.
How was that?
You reminded me about that since you were on Apple TV.
Oh.
I like that show well enough. It's much better. Like the first season, I've talked about it before. The first season had too much like in jokes on video games, right? It was like a little bit too much about the video games and not enough about the characters and just like the work environment in general. Like we didn't need to have it specific jokes. It was, I don't know. It got a little bit too close to Big Bang Theory as far as like we've got so much nerd stuff that we're throwing into here that you recognize because this is nerd stuff. But Mrs. Shipwreck is watching it with me now, and she's enjoying it. So, I mean, for a workplace comedy, it's pretty solid.
I think you should watch White Lotus with Mrs. Ship. It's stuff that, I mean, I talk about it with Mrs. GB, like what always, like the next day. You've talked about this a lot. I don't remember which. It takes place at a resort at a fancy. It always takes place at a fancy resort. Each season is a different resort in a different country, and it's basically the first season is mostly about like you see like the juxtaposition of the customers versus the people working there, and it's basically it's a dark comedy. It's over the top. There's big laughs, but it's sort of serious, and it's a dark comedy. That's the best way to describe it. It's very, very good.
Preview it to see if it's something that Mrs. Shipwreck would be interested in at all.
If you go on vacations as a family and stay at resorts, I think you can relate to it in some way. Even though it's a dark comedy and it sounds like it might be a little daunting, but it's really entertaining and funny. I also will recommend something completely fucking ridiculous. On YouTube, there's a channel called Oral Knots. I don't know if you know that channel. They did the Darth Trump video, which is pretty funny. But they put out a lot of like Star Wars content, and they put out a series called Larry. And what they've done is they've taken the Obi-Wan series off of Disney Plus and just dubbed over it, basically, to make it even goofier than it is.
And that's what AU Oral Knots?
Yes.
Okay.
And
not oral knots like ORAL.
No, AURAL. Yeah. And it's all about like dance fighting and like going to nightclubs. It's just very funny. And even Mrs. Cheapy liked it. Usually the really weird stuff, it's too weird for Mrs. Cheapy, but it's so funny that I had to send them $25 because, they look for money.
Maybe I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's very. If you've watched Obi-Wan, I feel like it's funnier.
I've been getting on YouTube rabbit holes before I go to sleep. That's been my new go to sleep thing to do. So.
Sure. Did you watch Obi-Wan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, then you'll like Larry.
Gotcha. And JLS Production 07 in the chat reminds us that Mr. Schneebly from School of Rock, also the writer of School of Rock, is also the writer-creator of White Lotus.
Yes.
So that brings our whole School of Rock from the intro. It brings us right full circle.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Watch all that shit that I just mentioned.
Yep.